Welcome back to Girl vs. Girl podcast.
I'm Kylie.
Geez, delay.
And I'm Melissa.
Oh. Did I not say that?
No.
I was focused on your delay.
I know.
Is that why you were delayed?
Yes. I was like waiting for it.
I'm Melissa.
And today we're doing things that we wish we knew before
Getting knocked up.
getting pregnant. And I think we've done almost this before, like really
similar.
early on. But I think I should have checked to make sure. But I think it was, you good?
You know when your shirt just doesn't sit right?
Yeah.
And it's like, just sit right. And then I feel my shirt more than I should feel my shirt.
Yeah. You're thinking about it too much.
Okay, I'm good.
I think it was things we wish we knew before becoming moms.
Yeah, and I think we also did one that we wish we knew before being married. Or getting married.
Probably. So, same but different.
Yeah.
This is the same but different.
We can yip that with just about anything.
Yeah. Life updates?
Yeah, life updates. I actually have a very exciting life update.
We were just talking about it.
I just lost my train of thought.
She's nervous.
The excitement. No, it's because my shirt is like not shirting, you know?
It's shirting a little too hard.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. My life update is that, drum roll please, we're getting a dog. Thank God. I'm very excited. I've never lived a literal day in my life without a dog in the house. Like at minimum 2 dogs. Like I just was raised showing dogs, breeding dogs, always had dogs. Like my friends always wanted to come to my house because we always had like a million dogs and we always had puppies and, you know, the whole shebang. And like my friends would come with us on like dog shows and stuff. It was really fun. Mm-hmm. But the last, how long have we been back here after college? Like almost 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah.
Almost 3 years of us like moving back here from college. We have not had a dog in the house. I had my dog all throughout college, living with me, and then she's very old and very senile, and now she's deaf, and I mean she's a survivor. She's still kicking it.
How old is she?
14.
That is old.
And she is like, I tell Jake sometimes, I say I probably should mentally prepare myself a little bit more for her like passing away, but I honestly like truly in my gut, just like in my brain, I've convinced myself that like she's just never gonna die.
Yeah.
She's like that dog that's just never gonna die.
Yeah.
And she's also like my soul dog, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that like probably not gonna ever replace like that kind of relationship. It's probably not gonna be like that with this dog, but I'm still very excited. And also I feel like it'll help me get through.
I don't think you ever said that the dog's living with your mom.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, sorry. My dog,
You got ahead of yourself.
Andy, who's 14, lives with my mom because that's like the childhood house that I grew up in. So like that's the only thing that's familiar to her. And since she's like so senile, she like is just too stressed out anywhere else. Like she couldn't be like moving
like
around with us.
Right. And it was like you moved from here to college. And then that was like one thing, but then to come back and be
4
in
years
another
later.
new place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she just can't handle it, which is obviously devastating, but that's what's best for her. But I also just feel like this is good timing because I've just never lived without a dog, so it's like gut-wrenching to not have a dog in the house. I also want a dog for Booker, and we're through like newborn trenches. Like he's a year old. I feel like it's a good time to get a dog. He'll have a buddy. We'll have like a family companion. And I think that like when Andy does pass, it'll help me like get through it a little bit better. Anyway, so we're getting an English Springer Spaniel. So it's like a medium-sized dog. It'll be like the same size as Kylie's dog, which will be nice because they can be buddies.
I think it's going to be completely different size and shape, Melissa.
Different shape, but like
I think that they're both like
because Indy's a tank.
I think they're both medium-sized dogs.
They're like about the same size.
But I think that they're like completely different sizes. They're both just going to be medium-sized dogs.
Well, okay, but it's not like
I
I'm
bet
getting
your
like
dog
a
is
Great
gonna,
Dane to play with your mini Aussie,
well,
you know?
Yeah, Indy would play with a Great Dane, but yeah.
Well, but
it
would be like more on his level.
Similar.
It's not like a
size.
Chihuahua, but
yeah.
a little ankle biter. But anyway, I'm really excited. My dad had them growing up, which is kind of where I got the idea. They're obviously like field dogs. They're like meant to be bird dogs. So the guy we're buying them from, he is breeding and raising like field dogs. And he's like, "Does your husband hunt?" And I'm like, "A little." He's not taking my dog hunting.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks. But yeah, I'm really excited. I have no idea. Actually, I do have 3 different names, but I don't know which one I'm going to pick. So I think I'm just going to go, and I'm getting him in the middle of October. I'm going to go get him. It's supposed to be a Christmas present, and it was supposed to be a surprise from Jake, but I found out.
That's not a surprise, and it's going to be 2 months early.
Yeah, I found out. So, which kind of needed to happen because, like, he didn't know,
too big of a
like,
thing
specifically which breed I wanted, what color, where to get him. Like,
Yeah.
this is right up me and my mom's alley. Like, this is what we do. So it would have taken him a lot longer to find the dog than it did me. But I'm very excited. We went to Marshall's where we came here and did some dog shopping and got, like, a couple things.
Fun.
Which is exciting.
So exciting.
But, yeah.
That's, like, such a big thing.
It's, like, such a commitment, but I'm, like, so excited for, like, the
it'll be really
responsibility
fun.
and, like, Booker, like, having a buddy. And I feel like the name is always the hardest part. I always do this. I struggle so hard naming things.
Names are honestly really hard, yeah.
I have 3. Should I say what they are? Or is this getting too long for a life update?
We got time.
I have 3 names picked out, and I think I'm just going to wait until I go get him and see which name fits him. Like,
I think that's a good
what
idea.
Speaks to me. I, like, roughly picked him out of a photo.
I think all
but
3 of the names are pretty similar, right?
I feel like they all fit that kind of dog. He's
And
gonna
they're,
be,
like,
white
similar
and brown.
sounding, too.
Yeah. He's going to be white and brown. It's a litter of 4 boys. They're all white and brown, and I, like, roughly had to pick one out today. And I literally was like, they're 3 weeks old. They all look exactly
And it's
the same.
a picture.
And it's a picture. And I just was like, I guess the one on the right. And he's like, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
But if the other 3 aren't, like, already spoken for by the time I get there, which he said I'm going to be the first one picking them out or whatever, then I can pick from the other ones too. So.
Yeah. So likely there'll be at least one other option.
Yeah.
Or something, even if someone else
Yeah.
calls dibs. Yeah. Exciting.
So, yeah.
So exciting.
Okay.
Do you have anything else?
My child is walking-ish. He took his first steps, like a couple days ago? And he's very, like, reserved and, like, cautious about things. Like, I feel like Coast is a daredevil. Mm-hmm. And Booker will go really slow and, like, make sure he has, like, good footing. And, like, so we're not often walking. But he's taken maybe, like, 10 steps total. Like, that's, like, the most amount he's taken at a time. Yeah. And it's very slow, very calculated. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not going to hit the ground running by any means. But, yeah. So I wouldn't say he's walking, but he's taking steps. He's doing good.
He's pre-walking.
Yeah. And he's just doing a lot of, like, really fun developmental, like, leaps. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like he's learning things so quickly. Like, he's starting to wave goodbye. And, like, he knows what night means. And, like, we spin this little ball in a bowl, and he'll, like, put the ball in the bowl and then, like, swirl his hand around, like, spin it, slave. It's so cute.
I know. That's what we were just talking about, too. I'm like, stuff is gonna start just, like, rapidly changing.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's fun.
I know.
Because they're starting to, like, here, do this or whatever. Or, like, I'll get his, like, yogurt out in the morning after his nap, and I'll set it, like, on the ottoman, and he'll, like, get it and, like, bring it to me. And he's like, open it.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. Coast is, like, runs to his room if we say it's bedtime. Like, run to his room.
It's so cute.
He's, like, doing a lot of, like, that kind of thing. Like I say something and he, like, does it.
Like what he does with Indy.
Yeah. Like, he knows how to give
cute.
Indy a treat. Well, I can, like, give him a treat to give Indy in the kitchen, and he'll walk all the way across the house to Indy's kennel.
So
and
cute.
do it. Or when we get home, I can set him on the ground and say, where's the puppy? And he'll run to his kennel. He's doing a lot of, like, that kind of.
Like, they just, like, understand you more.
It's great. I'm like, how does he know how to do that? And
no,
Chris is like, well, we literally
amazed.
do that every single day since he's been alive. So eventually he's gonna
literally
catch on. But yeah, crazy.
It's like you're so shocked when they do something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I've only been doing it for 9 months of their life or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Is that it?
That's all my life updates. I'm sure I'll have more updates about the dog as we go.
Yeah. So exciting. I'm trying to think if I have any major life updates.
You are lighter a couple inches.
Oh yeah, my hair. I'm like, am I looking that skinny?
Good luck finding my waist.
Yeah. No, I cut my hair and I cut it shorter than I did the first time I cut it, and not sure if I like it, so that's why it's curled.
I like it.
And I think I'm going to be wearing it curled for the next couple of weeks to, like, get used to it, because I feel like with it straight, I always have liked my hair curled better than straight, obviously. Maybe that's not obvious, but obviously I just don't care that much to, like, do it every day, and it looks fine straight.
Doesn't it also take you, like, literally 3 seconds to straighten it?
Yeah, like, my hair is already straight. I have to straighten it when it's short because it gets more
like volume and
like kinks kind of. Like when it's long, it weighs itself down enough that it's like straight, but when it's short, it gets like, it just doesn't lace as flat because it's doesn't have the weight to hold it down. Anyways, so I'm having to curl it, but that's what I did the last time when I cut my hair. It wasn't even this short, but it was short compared to what I had, and I just curled it for like 2 weeks to get used to it, and then I liked it. So that's what I'm doing. And I went shorter on purpose, not because I necessarily wanted it shorter, but because I just don't want to have to get my hair cut all the time, which I think it's been like 6 months since I got it cut. It's not like I'm going all the time.
You think?
It was April. So maybe 5 months.
Did you get your hair cut before or after mine?
After, but it was kind of.
It was like
at
not
the same
even.
time.
I think it was like I cut my hair and then I think literally like a week later, because I feel like on our podcast updates, it was like, oh, I cut my hair, and then the next week it was like, you cut your hair
within like
it was
5 days.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah, because this will be my second haircut and I get it done every 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's been like 5 months. Anyways, it's not like I'm getting it cut all the time, but I used to get my hair cut like once every 14 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now especially, I don't need to be getting that done a ton because I don't have the time to go do it. So I got it shorter till I get another month out of it or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, that's the hair update. My kid's sleeping. Last time I was talking about how we were going to embark on the sleep train journey part 2. And it went so well. It was like probably 2 nights. I'm like, I don't even know how much of this I should put out on the internet because people have such varying opinions, but
people can.
I know. This is my.
Let's get canceled. People can F off.
I know. This is my.
If it's not your kid, you don't get an opinion.
This is my journey. I'm not doing anything extreme.
No.
Anyways.
You're not like beating your kid in the barn in the backyard.
Oh
like,
gosh, Melissa,
people need to
say
chill.
that.
Okay. I'm just saying, people need to relax. It's not their kid. They need to not worry about it.
Yeah.
If they have an opinion, they know where to put it.
Yeah. Anyways, it was like 2 nights of like minorly rough, but honestly, that's how it was the first time we slept trained Coast 2. It feels like a lot when I'm doing it, but like once we're through it, it's like, oh, that was only 2 days.
Yeah.
And of the 2 days, it really was like not that long.
Yeah.
Even during like when we were putting him down that he cried for. So I feel for our family really good about that. I feel good about it because Coast just seems to react really well to that. It's not like this huge massive thing like it is for some people.
It's like obviously the right choice for him. It works good for him.
It works good for him, and he catches on quick, and I feel bad when it's happening, but we're all sleeping literally so much better, and I feel like I can be a good mom when we do this.
Yeah, that's better for like the whole family unit.
Literally the 30 minutes total of crying that it took is like,
yeah,
he's crying more than that before we slept trained him.
Yeah, and it's not like you didn't try other things. Those other things did not work for Coast. That's not what Coast needed.
No, but literally before, it was like hours. Getting him down, and hours in the middle of the night, getting him down, crying.
And that's not healthy for anyone.
So it's like he's crying or he's crying.
Yeah, at least he's crying towards something positive.
Yeah.
Because none of the other, like, approaches were working for him.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's really good. And some other change is that we're getting a sitter tomorrow, a babysitter.
Tomorrow, the first day.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're cleaning our house today, because I'm like so nervous. I'm like, let me make sure the house is all good. Yeah, we're getting a babysitter tomorrow. She's gonna come. Tomorrow's her first day, so we'll see how it works out. But the plan is to have her come once a week for 2 hours. And that is time for me to do whatever the F I want.
AKA hang out with me.
I want to go to the movies.
Because my husband doesn't work on Mondays. Can we go to the movies? Not tomorrow, obviously. But, like, can we go to the movies? Because therapeutic.
I know.
That's, like, one of my favorite things to do now.
I know. I would love to go to the movies. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do because I need a sec. And I've never left Coast with literally anyone except for Chris. And honestly...
You haven't even really left him with Chris that much.
Lately, I've been leaving him with Chris a lot more. Or Chris has been, like, taking him, like, to the park because I need...
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I'm very nervous, but I think that'll be really good for all of us. And I think just as every month goes by, like, it's like at some point life has to kind of get a little bit more normal feeling, I guess. And life does not feel like manageable right now to me.
Yeah.
It feels like something is gonna have to give, and there's certain things that I can't change. Like, Coast needs me to feed him. I can't change that. And like, he is very needy right now, but I can get a couple of hours once a week. You know what I mean?
That isn't taking away from like Chris and his work. And
right, because that's the other thing. It's like, well, Chris can watch him,
but then you guys take a hit. It's like,
then I don't get to spend time with Chris. Like, I don't want Chris to watch him on the weekend.
Something's getting sacrificed no matter what.
Right. Like, Chris will be like that. He's like, well, do you want me to take him somewhere like this weekend, or like you go somewhere? And it's like, yeah, but really, we don't have that much time on the weekend, and I don't want
that time with him.
Yeah, I want that time like as a family.
Yeah. So,
anyways, that's that life update. I'll have more to say next week.
What's the update on Mexico?
I don't know, Melissa.
Am I stressing you out about Mexico?
No.
You're stressing me out that you're going to Mexico, so I need to know every detail.
Well, today I was talking about maybe we should just go in January and kind of just get through, like...
So were you thinking about November?
We were thinking about November, but then it was like...
Feels so close.
I know. And it was like, okay, well, at the beginning of November, it's Chris and I's birthday.
Yeah.
And we usually do a trip for that. Who knows if we'll do that this year? We did last year with Coast. Who knows if we'll do that this year? I would like to. So then do we go to Mexico for that? But that's really soon, and like it was more expensive for that week, so then we could go right before. Okay, well, I kind of wanted to go for Thanksgiving, but it's really expensive for Thanksgiving, and I don't care that much to go for Thanksgiving. But then it's like, we're not going to go to Mexico on November 5th through 12th and then go on a trip for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much. So then I'm almost like, should we just wait until after the holidays? It's cheaper to go in January. We could go on a small trip for our birthday. We could go on a small trip for Thanksgiving if we wanted. We could do
Bend for the weekend.
Like, it gives us more flexibility, but also, I don't know, stay tuned, because then we might go next week.
Oh my gosh.
No, we won't. But
it'll also give,
I don't know what we're doing.
Coast more time to like settle into like his routine of like sleeping better and like make that more solid.
And I really just want to go when he's on one nap. That just feels easier to me.
I feel like that's more worth it.
Yeah.
Because think of all the time that one of you or both of you is going to be spending in the hotel room.
And like right now, his naps are going decently well, thank goodness. But
and that was like a struggle you just got done with.
Yes. But also it's like our schedule right now is so, like, I feel like we're on a strict schedule right now, which I don't like, but that's how it has to be with the 2 naps. You know what I mean? There's not enough time in the day.
Coast has just been struggling a little bit with sleep lately. So, like, you do need to be stricter so he can, like, kind of get it together.
Yeah, but it has to be because there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, no, it's like
have
30 minutes makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Where I feel like with one nap.
Then it's like, okay, he can go down at 11 or he can go down at 1 or 12 or, like,
and it's not like he's 3 months old and he can just sleep on you on the beach. Like, he's just not going to do that.
I wish, but yeah.
Booker wouldn't do that either.
Yeah. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll go at some point, but I don't know when. Maybe we'll go in the spring. I don't know. That's what you said. You were like, maybe you guys should just, like, what's the rush in going?
That's what, she was telling me about this, and I was like, literally, you're stressing me out with the idea of even doing this. There is not even me. Like, what is the rush?
There's no rush except for I just want to go. We said that we were going to go in the fall, so now I feel like I have, like, this commitment
what's
to
the
myself.
Rush, but
there is no rush.
Yeah,
I just
want to go. You guys
go.
kind of intended on going at this time. I think you should go in January. I cannot mentally handle you guys going to Mexico.
I know. That'll probably be what we do. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, should we get into the episode?
Probably.
Melissa doesn't have notes, so I don't know. Do you have...
just outing me.
Sorry. Do you have stuff in your head?
I'm normally the more prepared one, but I am... My brain...
Not last week either, though.
I know. You want to know what? You want to know where my brain is? My brain is baby, family, husband,
new
work,
puppy.
House, new puppy. What does the puppy need?
Work?
Like, Jake's work. Like, Jake's work's been crazy. We just got done with Booker's birthday. Just got done with the camping trip. This and that. Blah, blah, blah. Birthdays. Blah. It's just like...
Whiplash.
Yeah, I feel like my brain's getting whiplash. And I feel like I've had such a short fuse lately. And I will pat myself on the back. I do not snap at Booker. And I do not, like, take my anger out on him, like, almost literally ever. But there are plenty of times I set him down with his toys. And I go in the laundry room, I shut the door, and I go,
Yeah.
Especially the other day when I spilled my coffee. That, Kylie,
I know.
I was already, you know when you just, like, a couple days go by and you just wake up for a couple days straight and then it just goes away, but nothing really leads up to it, but it's like for 2 or 3 days, you just wake up and, like, your fuse is 0.
Yeah.
Like, you're already, like, right there.
Oh, that's how I was with the child locks.
Like, I've been right on the edge for, like, 3 days, and then yesterday, the coffee spilled onto our ottoman, still trying to get the
Yeah,
stain out. I'm on solution number 3 of trying to get the stain
It
out.
probably will just not come out.
Spilled into all of our game boards. I take all the game boards away and cards and everything, wipe them all down, like during breakfast. And I was so low. And I'm like, on a Saturday morning, like,
She told me that she spilled her coffee, and I was like, oh, that's annoying. She had to mop the floor, like, haul out the mop, make sure that she gets it off all the cabinets. And then she's like, oh, yeah, and I spilled it on the ottoman down into the board games. I'm like, oh, that's worse.
yeah, no, it was bad. So yeah, I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Do you have mental notes?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we can just do mine, and we can both.
I'm just gonna roll with the punches,
Well,
you guys.
how about I do mine, we can roll with it, and probably you'll think of stuff as I'm going down mine,
Also,
but you'll relate to all of,
yeah,
at least most of these.
My pregnancy was very memorable, so
yeah.
there's a lot of things I wish I would have known.
I feel like there's not, on the opposite, I had to work hard to get this list. I have 6 things, because I was like, I felt fine during my pregnancy. So it wasn't like a whole bunch of stuff that I'm like, oh, I really wish I knew that.
That's how I feel about you and Abby. Abby's like, I had a great pregnancy and I pushed him out in 25 minutes. I'm like, bitch.
That would be a good thing.
But also, I'm very happy that you guys had these experiences.
I'll start with that then. Should I just start?
Okay,
that's not even on my list, but
I'm sure I'll come up with something.
Things I wish I knew before. This you won't relate to in this way, but you'll have stuff to say, I'm sure. Because you always do.
I'm like, when have I ever not had an opinion?
Pushing a baby out. This is like what I wish I knew in labor. Pushing a baby out is literally, I don't even know how to describe it to someone that like has not done that before. And I honestly don't even think that there's a point, because there's not, like, you could explain it to the best of your ability. You could have a professional explainer explain this to you, but you're not gonna get it, because it's that, at least for me, it's that, like, your mind couldn't even like comprehend the pain. You know what I mean? Like, someone could tell you, like,
you've had a lot of good practice too, because I have made you explain this to me so many times just out of curiosity, because I didn't experience it. I'm always like, every time you go to explain it, I'm like, and then what?
Pushing,
what
literally,
like?
It just felt like I was like pushing an actual train out of me. Like, I literally don't know how I would even begin to explain it. And like I said, it doesn't even matter, because it's not like,
it probably feels different for everyone too.
And like, even if it felt exactly the same for someone, like, it's not gonna, like, you're not, I feel like your brain can't like,
yeah, I get
like,
what you're
you
trying to
can't
say. Like,
make
you
up
can't
a feeling
fathom
that
it.
you've never felt before.
Yeah.
It's not like stubbing your toe
Yeah.
or like pushing out a big poop or like something like, it's like I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. At any point did you ever feel like there's no way that like there's enough, like he's too big, like he's not gonna come out, like I can't, there's no way that this large baby can come out of this very small area, like it's just not gonna happen?
No, I think like at one point I said like I can't do this, but I didn't actually mean it. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I actually feel like I can't do this. I think it was just like I was in so much pain that I was
exhausted,
like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I think some people have like a moment of like panic of like, I can't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what you're describing. And I didn't really have that. But I think that with my whole birth, I was like really prepared and like really did a lot of mental work to get to the place that I was. So I was extremely confident in my body and my body's ability to do it. So I don't think really any time in my labor at all I was actually like,
had that like panic moment.
Yeah, like I don't think I really ever had that. But I'm sure if you watch the video back, I said I can't do this. But I don't think even in the moment I actually thought like I can't do this. You know what I mean?
It was more of like, I'm just so exhausted and
like,
how am I
going
to do this? Like,
yeah. Any other comments, or you want to go to my next one?
I'm like, that was like not a good one to start, because I always am like so
anything.
like entranced when you talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well,
can't relate.
Maybe that's how everyone is. No, because
Well, if you've never experienced it,
then
like I've never even experienced contractions. So when you talk about them, I'm like super intently
contractions
listening.
I can explain.
Yeah,
like the
I
pushing
had
is
a lot
just
of Braxton
crazy.
Hicks, so I'm sure it's just that on steroids.
For me, it was like that, but on steroids, and also the feeling of when you're gonna have. Sorry that this is gross, but explosive diarrhea, and you're like
trying to hold it in.
But like, you know how it like.
Yeah, I probably do know, because we both are IBS girlies.
No, I know, and that's why I'm like, you'll understand this. You know how when you are gonna have to poop like that, and it like rises.
Ooh.
And it like really
getting,
you're
like the hot bubbles in your stomach.
Yeah, and you're like sweating.
Yeah.
And you're like, if this car doesn't move any faster, like I'm going to poop my pants.
And you get that like little fear moment of like it's gonna start coming out.
But then it kind of comes down. Then it comes down.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
I'm
good.
I get where you're going with that.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Sure.
I don't know if anyone else feels like that when they have to poop, but that's how it is if I have to, like, if I like I'm gonna
Well, people probably don't like poop their pants like we do. So
yeah. Well, if you do. And
You
if you know
get
the whole
it.
feeling where it like comes up and then it comes down,
You get like
and
bubble guts.
It like comes in waves. It's
okay.
like that, and also like the extreme Braxton Hicks or like period cramps, like
like all wrapped into one.
very extreme versions of that. But
okay,
I feel like I could like explain that, and like someone could potentially like understand the feeling, but the pushing no.
I feel like I could come up with one. I just need a second to like think because I was focusing on what you were saying. Because guess what, guys? I'm trying to be a better listener. I've been working on that in my life.
You want me to do another one?
No, I feel like I could pull one out of my butt real quick. Something I wish I knew before being pregnant. Why are you laughing?
Oh, we're just gonna be here forever.
I wish that I would have known. Are we talking about like just pregnancy in general, like very like personal, like our personal like pregnancies?
I think as long as it's pregnancy, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I wish that I would have known that C-section was like a likely possibility, because then I would have had more time to wrap my head around it, because the only time I had to wrap my head around it was 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jake and I talk about this. This is like something we talk about so much, is we'll debate this. I go back and forth between it'll be better next time because I've already gone through it, or it'll be worse next time because my body just obviously doesn't handle pregnancy well at all. Mm-hmm. And like,
the pregnancy or the birth?
Both.
Yeah.
Like, I could handle it because I've already gone through it, or it'll be worse and it scares me. Like, I teeter between that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But I do wonder if I had more time to wrap my head around it and know what to expect. Like, I didn't know what, like, I obviously I know what a C-section is, but I didn't know what to expect from it. I didn't know what the steps were. I didn't know, okay, we're going to do this and then this and then this, and this is what it's going to be like after, and this is the healing like, I didn't have a chance to do any research, you guys, like nothing. I went into it 1000% blind. All I knew was I was going to have a scar on my bikini line. That's all I knew. Yeah. I didn't know anything else. So I think if I had a chance to like research it and like know more about like what postpartum would be like and like how it was going to be different, and like, because I researched a lot about postpartum and I was really prepared. I had all the stuff, like everything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't end up using any of it because I didn't have any. So I was like panic buying stuff in the hospital, on Amazon, like wasn't prepared at all. But I wonder if the C-section would have gone differently and I would have reacted differently had my body like been on board.
I think so. Obviously maybe we'll know when you have another baby, but we won't know until then how it'll be for you. But I think that makes sense. Because
I feel like my brain wasn't on board, so my body wasn't on board. And that's why my body did so bad.
And I think with birth in general, and like this is my experience, and obviously we had completely different experiences, and I think that we think about birth very differently. But I feel like a really key component in having like a positive birth is having like feeling in control, and I was gonna say something else with it. Feeling in control and feeling safe. I think that is like two really key things that you didn't have either of.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that.
Obviously, if you're having a C-section, that's going to look completely different than if you're having a home birth, clearly. Yeah.
But some people have like planned C-sections.
Absolutely. And people will have doulas for C-sections on purpose. People will have C-sections planned and still have a doula to like walk alongside you and make sure that you're being honored in the process, and like what you want to have happen within those specifications can happen. And I've heard of people having really positive C-section stories.
Yeah, no, I have too.
And that just wasn't ever even an option because it was an emergency. You didn't feel in control because you weren't. It was like, this is what's happening right now.
Get on board.
Yeah. And you didn't feel safe because same thing. I was
terrified the whole time.
And obviously you're probably not going to feel safe if you're like being sliced open, but there's obviously levels of like how unsafe you're feeling.
But I mean, any safety or comfort I possibly could have had, I didn't have any of it. Like Jake wasn't even in there.
Yeah.
he came in at the very last second, and it's like he wasn't there long enough to like make me feel better before they pulled Booker out. Like, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, everything, my whole birth plan and like preferences that I had, I mean, you know, I think I was talking to you about it for like months, like all these preferences I had and all the research I did. And like, I'm very much like, I feel very in control when things are planned out, and I know all the like possibilities. And so to be blindsided like really rocks my world, because I go to lengths to make sure that I am prepared for every possibility, and I just never even considered a C-section.
And you can still have all of that with a C-section.
Sure.
Just not an emergency.
I just didn't. Yeah, and obviously, it was an emergency, and but yeah, it's like, even I didn't want Booker to have formula or be bottle fed, and it's like I didn't have a choice. I was down and out. I wasn't even like really conscious. It's like, obviously I'm not going to be breastfeeding. Like there's pictures of like Jake feeding him a bottle in the hospital. I don't remember that, and I wouldn't have wanted that. But at the end of the day, it's like I had to let go of control of absolutely everything in my entire world.
Yeah, and maybe that's the exact same thing that happens again, but this time you can say, these are the bottles that I want you to use. This is the formula that I want you to use. This is the yada, 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 yada. This is how I want this done. Sucks this isn't the option that I would have picked, but within...
of what's realistic.
Within what is going to happen, like, here's your choices, you know?
Well, and I even, like, obviously Jake knew, like, the birth plan and everything, and we agreed on everything, but, like, he was gonna... I was the spokesperson. I was gonna be the one that says, I want this. And then if there's any pushback, Jake would be the one to be like, okay, no, this is what we're doing. Like, he had my back, but I was the spokesperson on these preferences, and I wasn't even, like, lucid. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, so Jake's on his own, and, like, obviously, like, in panic mode. He's not going to remember our birth plan, like, let alone be, like, fighting for it, you know?
Like, next time you can have it written down. Next time you can cue him in more or whatever.
And, like, next time I probably won't be so out of it, and, like, hopefully. But it's, like, I can prepare him more. He was never supposed to be the point person, and like he just got put into that position, and like obviously that's not his priority, worrying about what bottle, you know, like his wife's in that condition, and his child. It's like, no, I wish that I would have been more prepared for that option. So I guess if I'm giving any advice, it's, even if there's absolutely no possible way in your world that a C-section is going to happen, if you're doing the research, just do the extra research, and like maybe have a couple extra things and like preparedness like towards that, so it's not like such a blindside, because like if your mind's not on board, your body's not on board, and that's partly why my C-section was so horrible, is because my body was just not on board. But
I think that's good advice. I think if you do it again, it'll be better, but obviously
because I know now that like there's no, like, it has to be a C-section. There's no like option for anything else. So I'll like have a better like mindset, and like know what to do, know what to expect, like plan for it. And obviously it's still like a really hard recovery, but I'll be better prepared for it. Whereas like, I feel like every day was just like I was scared every day that I woke up, because I'm like, okay, what's gonna be today? Like, you know, it's gonna be nerve pain. Am I gonna have to take medicine? Like, it's like all these things.
And there's obviously just like random, like, I don't want to call it luck, but like maybe next time you won't have nerve pain. Or in a different world, you wouldn't have had nerve pain. And there's not like, oh, I didn't prepare for that. It's not like, oh, I should have made sure that my decision was made on that within these, like what we were saying. It's like, that's just literally something that you have no control of. That's completely
even, like,
random.
Even Jake can be like more prepared too. Like, I don't think he prepared to have to help me shower for a whole week. Like, I couldn't shower by myself for like 2 weeks.
No, and your house probably wasn't set up for it, and yada yada yada.
Everything was like panic, last minute, hurry up. My parents are bringing this and that, and it's like my world was just chaos, and I think that was like just not fun.
No, that makes sense. I think like I said, I think that feeling in control and feeling safe are two main things. And you have either of those.
I really like the way you said that. Okay, what's your next one?
Okay, my next one is your boob. I guess this doesn't happen to everyone. I don't know. But my boobs started leaking milk. Not like uncontrollably or anything like that, just a tiny bit. At like, speaking of Mexico, it happened when we were in Mexico that year. So I was probably like 23 weeks or something like that. And I literally had no idea.
No, you were panicking.
That I was like crying, not because I was like worried about it, but I was just like, it felt kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is like
Kinda like a
going to
reality
happen.
check.
Yeah, like this is going to happen. And like, I feel like before having a baby, and maybe it's just because I wasn't like around a ton of moms or like around a ton of babies or whatever, much less like around moms like breastfeeding, it was kind of like milk's gonna come out of these.
Yeah,
like a baby is going to
but
I was like, I can't fathom like a baby sucking on my nipple and me not like like
it like feels uncomfortable to
Yeah.
think about because you're like, ooh, taboo.
like I could not picture
And now
that.
you're like, whip that thing
Like,
out.
milk is going to come out of my nipple. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I literally cried about it. Partly because I was like freaked out, and but more so because I was like, oh my gosh, like
Made it real.
this is gonna actually happen. Yeah,
I remember those Snapchats. You were like really freaking
I'm
out.
like, my shirt is wet. Like, what is happening? I think at first I was like, did I like get water? And then I was like, I haven't had anything like
because you can't feel it
to
coming
drink.
out.
No, and it didn't feel like now if I like I can feel my letdown.
That is wild to me. I can't really feel it.
Really? Ever?
Mm-mm.
I can't always feel it, but I can if it's like strong, like if I haven't nursed in a little bit. It didn't feel like that at all. It just was like a tiny,
Yeah.
like, I mean, drops,
Yeah.
like just
enough to wet
tiny
your shirt.
bit. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was crazy. And I don't know, did that happen to you?
Mm-mm.
No, see, so that doesn't happen to everyone.
No.
Well, it might happen to you.
Oh, the joys of pregnancy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything crazy. It was just like, oh, excuse me? Like, what is happening, you know?
Yeah.
You want me to do another one?
No, I have one.
Okay.
Before I got pregnant, I wish I would have known that my ankles would swell 3 times the size.
No, your ankle, your whole everything was swollen. Ankles and feet.
My body, my head to toe.
Yeah.
If I look at pictures, I literally look like on Charlie the Chocolate or Willy Wonka, like Charlie. What is it? Willy Wonka's Chocolate
Wonka-
Factory.
Yeah. I don't
You know the little like grape girl that like swells up.
Uh-huh.
That's what I looked like. I looked like I ate myself.
That's funny.
It was bad, and
Ate
from like
myself.
knee to toe was like all the same
no,
width.
you
It was so bad. And remember, I had such bad nerve pain in my feet that I had to like wrap my feet with like sports tape.
Sort of.
My mom would come over once a week and like wrap my foot for compression because I was having like the worst like nerve pain. I couldn't even walk on one foot because I was so swollen.
Yeah.
My poor body. That's what happens when you're 5 foot nothing.
It's
and
so...
your husband's a million feet tall.
Yeah. It's so weird how you swell when you're pregnant. We were watching, I forget what it's called. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like Selling Sunset, but it's a different one. And Chris wanted to watch it. It's in New York City. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's a reality TV show where they're selling real estate, but it's basically just reality TV. And this girl in it is not pregnant, and she's like walking around like whatever. I think it was on that show. I'm pretty sure. She's like walking around like little skinny mini, little reality gorgeous model star, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, you know, it like does the cutaway clips, like the interviews. And I'm like, it's just from here up. Or like here up. And I'm like, right when it showed her, I'm like, she looks pregnant to Chris. I'm like, she looks pregnant in this. And he's like, I don't think so, Kylie. I think she's...
It's not like you just look chubby. Like,
No.
you look swollen.
He's like, I think she's just wearing a push-up bra and like tight clothes and like is like tight. And then every time it would come on, I'm like, she looks like pregnant. Like she looks
like there's a difference.
swollen to me. And like 2 episodes to the end, it's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew it from the second I saw. Yeah, she doesn't look like overweight. It's like puffy, like around your eyes, like yes,
it's totally
she's wearing
different.
Yes,
you don't
she's
look
wearing
overweight.
No,
you like look like pregnant.
Yeah, and yeah, she's wearing a push-up bra, and like that's making her boobs look more voluptuous, obviously. But it's like her clavicle
Yes,
is
it's
like
the
swollen.
clavicle bone is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's not the boobs.
It has left the chat.
Yeah.
No, I was watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I'm in the middle of that right now.
Okay,
You finished
we
it?
need to talk about it. Jake and I binged it. Mm-hmm. Jake actually loved it. Like,
Really?
he was so into it, which was so nice because I've been following the drama ever since it like, began.
Yeah.
And when Taylor was, what's her name? Taylor Frankie Paul.
Uh-huh.
When she was pregnant, she is like skinny. And when she was pregnant, like the first clip it showed of her, it didn't even show her stomach, and I was like, oh, she's pregnant now.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously you know she's pregnant, but or like she has like a 4-month-old now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I knew she'd get pregnant at some point. But it's like the way your body just like is plump.
Yeah.
Like it's
like
such
puffy.
a different look. It's like you know immediately.
Add that to the list. Being really swollen. Yeah.
It does make your face look really kind of cute, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't like swollen like you, but even I was like, I look back on pictures, like I was swollen. There was no clavicle bone.
No, no.
You don't have any.
You don't have you no jawline
structure. Yeah.
No, you're just like plump.
It's like take what you have and like add like the blur feature, and like blur over any like.
No, literally.
Not
Jake
skin,
would
but like
be like, you just look so beautiful pregnant, and I'm like. I look like a freaking blob.
Yeah.
I look like an ink blob. Like I look like someone's pen accident.
And it gets like worse. What? Like it's not that bad, and then you hit like 33 weeks and you're like
overnight.
All of a sudden it's not like I need an extra little bit in my waist.
No.
It's like, I can't get it like up past my knee.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
do you remember those like milestone photos I was taking of my stomach? And I like decided at the very beginning I was going to wear this like specific pair of jeans because it was my favorite pair of jeans. And the last
and they were probably baggy to start with.
They were like very baggy.
The biggest jeans that you have.
Yeah. And like by the last one, I was like, I think Jake was Snapchatting Kylie on my phone trying to take the picture. And I could only fit one leg in the jeans. Like I couldn't fit both legs, and so the leg, it was like from the side, so the leg that was on the inside of the photo was not in the jeans. And we were trying to make it work, and it worked, but it's funny looking back in the picture. I'm like, the jeans are half on.
Yeah. And it's like, just to clarify, it's not like you're expecting to like pull them up and button them.
No,
you're very much like doing the unbuttoned photo.
I could not get them past my thigh.
Yeah. It's like they hit the knee and you know.
Yeah. No.
The second your foot goes through
Another one bites.
The second your foot goes through the leg hole, you go, my foot's as big as this foot hole. It's not gonna go up.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is an interesting one. That same thing I don't think everyone has. And that is like, I don't even know what you'd call it. I don't know if I'd call it like full-on depression because that's maybe a little bit extreme for it. But some kind of like weird depression-y like mood thing at the beginning. Did you have that?
Explain it a little bit more and then maybe.
I don't even know how to explain it. I want to say no, but so long
not.
ago. I don't know. I just remember like I wanted to be pregnant so bad for so long. And I remember getting pregnant. And I just, like, wasn't that excited. It was almost like I felt like doom or something. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was excited. And, like, if anyone would have asked me, obviously I would have been excited. But deep down, I was kind of like, I don't know.
I think it was, like, fear and also maybe, like, okay, everything's about to change. And you're just, like, grappling with the fact that, like, your whole world is about to be turned upside down.
Maybe. I, like, can't even, like, put a finger on it. And now you're asking me to explain it. And now I feel like... Sorry about the motorcycles. What was I saying? Oh, I just feel like it was so long ago that I can't remember. And also I'm operating on one brain cell, like with having a kid. So I just feel like I can't remember. But it was just like this weird, like, yeah, I can't even really remember. That's weird that I can't remember. But
like when I found out I was pregnant, like after like soaks in after like a day or two.
I feel like I remember like being like not excited to like look at clothes. Like I was just like, I really just like, I don't care.
Yeah. I feel like I felt like that a little bit. I think it was more like the gravity of the situation like hits you so like hard and fast that it's like you're like catching up with your emotions. You're
Maybe.
like trying to like process like everything all at once, and it's just a lot. And I feel like it just makes you very like quiet. I feel like you're just like, there's so much going on in your head that you're just not.
Yeah, I think I was like so scared that I was going to have a miscarriage because I had bleeding at the beginning, which can be normal. So they say, but when you're bleeding and you're like everything. 6 weeks along, like that's obviously terrifying. And maybe that like led into it. Everything was completely fine, but I was like
you didn't want to let yourself get excited.
Like I was almost waiting for the shoe to drop a little bit. Yeah. And
I don't think... It's also hard, too, when you're like, okay, this massive, crazy, life-altering thing is happening inside me, but there's no, like, physical proof of it. Like, I have a stick that has a plus sign on it, but that's it. Nothing else is different.
Right.
Like...
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden now
you've missed your period, but, like, it's like in your head, you're like, I can start my period in 2 days, though. You know?
And also, like, missing your period is kind of like not being... sick. Like you don't even realize that you are gonna miss your period. Like you'd notice a lot more if your period was long versus if you missed a period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my gosh, I woke up today and I missed my period.
Yeah.
It's just like you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that like all of those were a part of it. But yeah, it was just a weird like I just wasn't like happy or something. I don't know.
I feel like I didn't really
It's also
feel
like
that
you don't
way.
tell people.
Yeah, it's like your dirty little secret.
Yeah, I don't know. It was probably all of that and also like hormones and also whatever mental stuff or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember. And I think that's like not everyone's situation, but I think that happens.
I think I don't know that I felt like that. I think I felt more like just panic.
Yeah,
like,
that
Jake
sounds
was the
different.
calm
But
of my storm. Like I was panicking, Jake was the one that was a little bit more hesitant about getting pregnant. And then once we found out, he was like ecstatic.
yeah, well, he
and
didn't have to get sliced open, so
like literally panicking. There is something to be said though about that small amount of time where like it's just you and your baby and like the whole wide
No one
world
else
that know
knows.
about each other, you know, like before you even tell your husband. And
but
you're just
I didn't feel like that. That's what I mean. Like I did not feel like that, like special, like anything with it. I felt like I
I'm
was
sure
just,
people
like,
feel like that.
No, yeah, I know people do.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I felt like that for like my whole pregnancy or something.
Well,
It was just like this.
It's just that initial
short beginning time that I felt like that.
Yeah.
It was weird. Even like when I took the pregnancy test, I remember being like shocked, but I wasn't even like so happy. I was just kind of like
Stunned almost.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe
Makes
that's
sense. Everything you're saying, even though I didn't like feel that or go through that necessarily, everything you're saying like makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like it feels very relatable.
And maybe it's because I like it took us so long to get pregnant. I wanted to be pregnant so bad that maybe it like even like taking the pregnancy test, I was like, yeah, right. A little bit. Like I was like this says positive and I've gotten literally probably over 100 that say negative. Like I don't even like believe that this says positive, but not in a way of like I can't believe it. Like, oh my gosh, like just in like a way of like, are you like,
yeah,
come
we'll
on.
see.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Anyways, that's the sad talk. Do you have one or you want me to say
Yeah,
another
I have one.
Okay.
You'll think this one's funny because you make fun of me about it.
Okay.
I wish I would have known about heartburn.
Why do I make fun of you? Do I make fun of you for that?
Jake does all the time. You do.
Do I?
When I thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh. Well, you think a lot of things, I'm just saying.
Okay, well, I've never had heartburn in my entire life. Jake has it a lot, and I'm always like, oh, it can be that bad.
It is that bad.
It is that bad because I literally called my, like, before I even had an OB, I, like, I was having heartburn from, like,
That early?
literally, like, the very beginning. I had heartburn for, I guess I was only pregnant for, like, 7.5 months, but I had heartburn from beginning to the end. Like, I remember going into the C-section, and I remember saying, like, before, I was like, can you lift me up? I'm having heartburn.
Really?
Like, literally up until the moment they pulled him out. And I remember, like, maybe 2 days after having
what did
Booker,
it feel like?
the OB came in the hospital room, and he's like, heartburn? And I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah.
Nerve pain, though.
Yeah. Dude, I had heartburn so bad. I was on so many
You're like,
medications.
I'm really having a lot of nerve pain down here. Like, do you have anything for that? And he's like, no, but that heartburn's gone though, right?
Yeah, no, literally. I was on like multiple medications for this heartburn. And the first time I got it, it's not like I was like, oh, I'm having some heartburn. Like, and it let up. No, it hit me like a freaking freight train.
Wait, what did it feel like?
The first time it happened, I was sitting at work at my desk. I was about to leave, and it was like maybe like 45 minutes before I was about to leave. And my left arm, I was like stretching it out. It was like tingling and stiff and like painful. And then it was kind of in my shoulder, and then it was kind of in my chest, and I just was like, like pushing on my chest. And then I just kept having these like really strong, like contracting, like sharp burning pain, and it would kind of get better for a second, and then like it would come in waves.
Weird.
And I literally felt like I needed to like shake my arm
like it was
out.
falling asleep.
It was so bad. Like I was like, my boss came out, and I've known my boss since I was like a little kid, and I was like, I told him, I was like, Matt, like you're gonna have to take me to the hospital. Like I think I'm having a heart attack. And no one knew I was pregnant. I think Mac was the only person at work that knew. And I was like texting her, and I was like, did you leave? Like something's wrong. And I called Jake, and I'm like almost crying. I'm like, I think I'm having like a heart attack. Like something's wrong. Like something's not right.
Yeah.
And it's like on the side of my chest that my heart is. So of course I'm like panicking. And I didn't even have an OB. I think at that point I was like on the, like the 8 week like wait list or whatever it was. So I hadn't even seen an OB.
Which is so dumb, by the way.
So let's not even get into it because that's so stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like calling my doctor. I'm like, Whitney, I think I'm having a heart attack. And she's like, honey, I don't think it's a heart attack. Like, you're fine. Like, I think this is just a pregnancy thing. Like, something's going on. Like, it'll be okay. If you really feel uncomfortable, go to the ER, you know? And so I scheduled an appointment with her, and I didn't go to the ER. And I was like, I'll just wait, because she had an appointment in like 2 days. And so I went in, and I was still having it. Like, not as bad, but still having it. And she, like, goes out of the room, comes back in, and she kind of is, like, giggling almost. And I'm like, what? And she's like, honey, it's just heartburn.
She's, like, making fun of you.
Jake was laughing so hard. I was not amused.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I swear to you, I was having a heart attack. Like,
yeah.
That was so scary.
Yeah.
It was heartburn, and it was just the beginning. I had to sleep at a 90-degree angle for 4 months. The last 4 months I was pregnant. Literally sitting, like, straight up. And I was like, and you know how people, like, cuddle like a blanket when they're sleeping? I was cuddling the bottle of Tums. Like, how many of these can you take a day? Because I'm having 2 more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, can I have some prescription Tums, please?
No, I had Tums, and I had 2 different prescriptions.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he goes, just drink more water. I'm like, I'm 20 weeks pregnant and there's no more room in my body already. Yeah. Okay? Like,
I'm already
water doesn't fit.
Every 2 seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say peeing all the time.
Yeah.
We don't really need to get into it because it's self-explanatory, but it's
not
literally
convenient.
all the time. It's literally all the time. And at the end, it's like every time, I feel like at the end, it's like every time you sit up. Like, I could, like, go pee and then go sit on the couch for, like, 5 minutes and then, like, want to get up and, like, grab my phone from across the room, and I'd be like, I have to pee if I'm getting up.
Or rolling over in bed every time, like, every hour you, like, roll to the other side and you're like, gotta pee.
Yeah.
Like, any movement, gotta pee.
Yeah. Which makes sense because there's just so much pressure.
But, I feel like you always feel like you have to pee. And then it's like, when you do actually have to pee, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get painful. Okay, I need to pee.
Yeah. And you, like, don't really get that much relief from it either, I feel like. And it's like that through your whole pregnancy because it's like that at the beginning too, but not because your bladder is being crushed. I don't even know why it's like that at the beginning. I think just because you have so much, like, extra fluid or something.
Maybe. I don't know. And your, like, water intake's more. And
yeah. It's like that the whole time, I feel like.
No. It's bad.
Do you have one or you want me to do another one that was fast?
Let
me do another one.
Okay.
My next one is constipation. Did you have constipation at all?
No, but I forgot this about your little pregnancy journey.
I had constipation so bad at the end. It was so bad one night. It was so bad. I almost went to the hospital with a towel wrapped around my body because I was like, it's crazy. We don't got to get into the poop talk again, but the constipation is crazy. If you're pregnant, take some magnesium.
Yeah, like, add magnesium into your daily vitamins for, like, the whole time.
Yeah, probably everyone should just be taking magnesium
and don't
all the time.
Stiff on those stool softeners after you've given birth.
I never had to take stool softeners.
Really? They say that, like, that first poop after you give birth, or, like, especially after a C-section, because you just don't have the abs to, like, push, is, like, brutal. Yeah, I was so afraid. I was taking so many stool softeners. I was like, it's gonna come out of me like liquid.
I took extra magnesium.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't have, like, a scary first poop, but the constipation was crazy.
Do you feel like you bled for, like, a very long time afterwards? Off topic, but not
I feel like I bled, like, a lot, like, not an abnormal amount, but, like, a lot for a normal amount of time, but then I feel like it lingered for, like of just having a little bit that I, like, needed a pad or, like, a liner on or something for a long time.
So I was going to say, I feel like that's the one positive about a C-section is you do bleed. And I feel like it was, like, very heavy for, like, 5 days, and then it was just gone. And it just was done.
Interesting.
Like, I didn't, like, I feel like that's not, like, I feel like it's a lot longer and a lot more.
Normally. I bet that is because, A, you had the placenta situation still, obviously. That's why you were bleeding, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting that right? Because you still have your placenta taken out, and that's a massive wound. But you don't have any bleeding from pushing a baby out and stuff getting actually messed up.
Yeah.
But also, I bet you bleed for a less amount of time because you're, like, forced to be bedridden.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, like,
in that sense,
you don't have any option.
Heal quicker because, I physically couldn't get out of bed.
Which is what you should do when you're healing from birth anyways. But, yeah, you, like, had to stay in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I bled, like, pretty heavy for, like, I don't remember, a normal amount of time, however long the normal amount of time is. But then I feel like I had just like a little bit of bleeding for like
spotting, like lingering.
Like a long time, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like yours was a really long time.
But just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not like, oh my gosh, I'm still bleeding a lot.
You're like wearing a panty liner or something.
Just like I can't, I'm going to ruin my underwear if I don't have a panty liner on,
Yeah. Let me think of one more. I'll give a positive. I'll just do a positive one.
Okay.
End it on a positive note. Do you have one more? Well, I'll end mine on a positive note.
Okay.
Something I wish I knew before being pregnant is, like, especially being pregnant the first time, because I feel like I won't feel like this as much the second time. The anticipation of, like, just being so excited and thinking about, like, being a mom. And, like, just, I would get so excited to even talk about, like, how we were going to parent Booker. And it was obviously so far off. But, like, I like, even now, I take so much pride in, like, being a good mom. And, like, I tell Jake all the time, like, that's the best compliment anyone could give me, because I take so much pride. It's so personal. And I feel like that was, like, the happiest, most joyful thing I could look forward to being pregnant, because everything about being pregnant for me was really miserable. So, like, sometimes it was even hard to be excited about, like, the baby, because I was not like I was ever like, you're doing this to me, but it was just kind of like, it was hard to get excited about something that was making me feel so bad every day.
I think on your first one, it's hard to, like, feel, like, I guess some people feel extremely connected to their babies.
I didn't really feel connected. I did not feel connected to the bump in my stomach. You know what I mean? Like
them as a physical
like, that's not my
person or
son.
something.
That's just my stomach swelling.
Right. But I feel like it would be different with your it would be different for me with a second.
Oh, 100%.
But I feel like it's hard to get excited.
Because you understand, like, what the love of a child is. Whereas, like, when you're first pregnant, the first time, you don't get that.
Well, and you, like, birth them, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
yeah,
there's an actual
full
person in there. And then you see that once.
When I was, like, going through it, Mom, every single second that I was pregnant, I was going through it. And everyone would always say, like, it'll be so worth it in the end. And I think I would, like, talk about this with you a lot. It really, really bothered me when people would say that. Because, one, that doesn't negate the struggle I'm going through right now.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, validate it.
And two, I've never been a mom before. I've never had a baby. I don't understand or can fathom
like,
that
what's
love.
worth it.
Yeah, I don't know what's worth it. I can't, like, obviously it is going to be worth it, and I knew that. But I couldn't, like, tell you that from my own experience. Like, I couldn't, like...
It's like the pushing thing. Like, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know how to...
Like, oh, yeah, sure, I know it's going to be
someone.
worth it. But, like, I've never experienced that, so I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the second time around, I feel like it's just so much more special. But
yeah,
even the first time, the way that I really got through the pregnancy, honestly, like, mentally, was, like, being so excited about, like, parenting. Like, I'm so excited to parent a toddler. I'm so excited to, like, reap what I sow here. Like, watch him become this, like, loving, gentle, kind, sweet, considerate, like, little boy, and like gentleman, and like a man, and like that, like, so got me through the pregnancy of, like, thinking about, like, I just cannot wait to be such a good mom. And, like, everything I have is going to be going into, like, being a good mom, and I just was so excited.
Yeah,
that was, like, the most positive part, I think, about the pregnancy.
Yeah, I think that is great. And also getting to buy all the stuff is so fun too, and it won't be like that when you have a second.
No, because you'll have a lot of it, and it's like old news. It's like, a diaper genie?
Yeah, like who? Yeah,
like, yeah,
who cares? Yeah,
no, like decorating the room, and it's like those little special
moments. And it's like when you have a second, you're gonna have already done it, and you're gonna have a toddler likely
that's like running around ruining it.
It's like, I don't have time to, like, put this picture up, and, like, it's like, just put it, like,
just throw the thing on the wall.
Just throw the thing on the wall, and, like, I'm not gonna, like, sit here and talk about how special it is or whatever.
No, I think your first pregnancy is so special because you do have the time to, like, slow down and really enjoy those things. And I feel like, especially for me, that was the only things that I was enjoying. Yeah. So I feel like it, like, made those things even more special, like, and, like, more memorable to me. Because I don't think
it's the only way that you can, like, tangibly, like...
Yeah, like, fathom what's even going on. Yeah. Now, I remember, like, Snapchatting you. Like, I was in my hospital gown, like, prepped to go into surgery. And right before they took my phone, I think I Snapchatted you. I was like, I really thought I was going to be pregnant forever.
Yeah, no, that's how it feels.
Like, I was like, can I go home?
That's how it feels.
Especially because we went to the hospital so many times and just went home, you know? I'm like, can I go home?
Yeah, you're like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it really does feel like that you're just going to be pregnant forever.
Yeah.
I think we should just end it on that. It was a good positive one. And I feel like the rest of mine are just kind of like...
There's a lot of negative about being pregnant and I hate when people are like, it's so magical and beautiful and special. It is, but it's also the most miserable you'll ever be. Like, you will be.
No, it's not.
Okay, well,
I
that
think
was a little dramatic.
Both.
It can be really great and like whatever, but it's like
everyone's experience is going to be different, and it is a hard thing.
Yeah, I shouldn't say miserable. I should say uncomfortable and hard.
Yeah.
Like, other than being a parent, that's probably the most uncomfortable, hard thing you'll ever do, because it's just like you lose control over your body, and it's like you literally have to surrender your body to this like thing that like you're not even really sure exists. You know, because you're just like, you can't wrap your head around it. Yeah. That's a better way to say it. It's just the most uncomfortable and like hard thing.
You know what I told Chris today? This is like completely off topic, but what you just said made me think of it. It was when we were kind of talking about the Mexico thing. I've always wanted to go to Bali. Chris and I have talked about going to Bali before. And the thing that's always stopped me from like actually doing that, and like that probably, well, now we have a kid, so we're not going to probably do that anytime soon. I'll take my kid to Mexico, but Bali's far. Anyways, the thing before that like made it so that we never actually did that is because it's such a long flight. It's like don't quote me if you've been to Bali, I don't know, but it's like it's like a 50, I think it's longer than that. It's like 15 hours or something crazy like that.
That's
it's
insane.
Really long. It's not like 8 or 10, because 8 or 10 feels, even like 12 feels okay. I think it's something like 15. I could be wrong, but I remember thinking like I just cannot do like a coach seat on a plane for 15 hours. Like, I just can't do it. And we were talking about the Mexico thing today. I'm like, being a parent really changes you, because golly, what I would give to sit in a middle seat in silence for 15 hours.
No, literally.
And I can watch
Sounds
Netflix.
Like a vacation.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's the vacation.
That's the flight. Vacation is the flight. Yeah.
No. Do you ever feel like you look at like these things where it's like before I was pregnant or before I like had Booker, I would be like American Ninja Warrior or whatever. I'd be like, gosh, how do people do that? Like, that's crazy. People can do these things. Like the Amazing Race or whatever. And like, now that I'm like, I was cut 7 layers deep and had an emergency C-section and then had to take care of a newborn. I can do frickin' anything. Yeah. The Olympics, no big deal.
But also, have you ever you probably haven't done this because you don't let your intrusive thoughts win like I do. I've gone to the park with Coast and been like, let me try those monkey bars. Have you tried doing monkey bars since you were like, I don't know, 10?
I feel like
it's so hard. You can't do it. You're like, obviously I can do those monkey bars and I could probably skip 4 of them. Just like I could when I was 10. No. You cannot do it. You have to try it sometime. And it's one of those things that you're like, I can totally do this. And then you walk up and you put your first hand on it and you're like, no, I can't.
No, I honestly, okay, I'm going to out myself. I have this really irrational fear that like, if I do something like that where like I'm like really hanging on my upper body strength, that my body's just going to rip in half at my scar. That I'm literally, my body's just gonna rip in half.
That's irrational, but I could see
my scar. I'm like that. It's compromised. Like, my body's compromised. It's not as strong as it was. I feel like I'm just gonna rip in half.
I feel like that's irrational, but
it's wildly irrational. However,
no, I feel like people would relate to that. That makes sense.
I have these like weird fears like that.
That's irrational, but rational in my mind.
Really irrational is when I'm stretching my back backwards. My mind, like my brain, it's the weirdest thing, Kylie. I don't know if I've even ever told you this. My brain physically will not allow me to like stretch back further
because
than
you're
like past a point.
Out.
Yeah, because I get that fear in my head that it's just gonna tear.
No, that makes sense.
And I physically could push my back further and it would be fine. And it's a little uncomfortable because it's pulling at the scar tissue, but like my brain won't allow it because like of the fear.
Yeah, and you're not worried about the uncomfortable. You're worrying about ripping in half.
Yeah, and it's like the most irrational thing, but like that fear of like it ripping like holds me back from like a handful of things.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I know
this is irrational, but my brain just like won't allow it.
Well, let me just save you from the monkey bar thing. You think you could do it, you wouldn't be able to. I guarantee you wouldn't be able to. It's crazy. So you don't have to worry about trying it.
Okay.
Okay, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Toodles.
Toodles. Bye.